Tell me about your journey into filmmaking.
Well, I've been making films since I was 13, and I always say to people, you can work that out for yourself. And but yeah, film has always fascinated me. The process of filmmaking always fascinated me. How did they do it? I remember the first film I ever saw at the cinema, which was Snow White, I think. And I just wanted to know how it was made. So it was, that journey was important to me. And my grandfather passed away, and my grandmother gave me his Super 8 camera. And that's basically how I started. And I used to make films with friends on Super 8. And I had this theory that the more people I got in the film, the more people would pay to buy a ticket and come and see it. So I used to hire the Village Hall, show that. And I kind of went on that journey. I wanted to get into it professionally, but it was very difficult at that time. And so I ended up going into IT, this is way back. And then eventually I went to live in Australia and in Sydney, and I got a job as a runner on a film.
Wow.
And I worked on 3 feature films, came back, got a job with one of the ITV companies and worked as an assistant director. So I worked on a range of like dramas and things like that. And then eventually I worked for a film unit for a charity. And so I did that for a short period. And the guy who was running it said, you should come and sell our films to television, because he thought I would be good at selling. So I did that. So I learned more about the business side, co-productions. I co-created a game show, of all things, out of the blue, which sold to 39 countries. But filmmaking has always been my thing, and I want to tell stories that have an impact on people and allow them to reflect on their lives. So I've done a lot of like social issue dramas. I've done films about knife crime and domestic abuse, a whole range of things. But the Lossen is my main film really recently. So which is being screened at the festival at 2CIFF on the opening night.
Amazing.
So yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the film without giving everything
too much away. Yeah. Well, the Lossen, it starts in the dead of night at a country house, and the Grim Reaper walks up the path, bangs on the door, wakes up this woman, Sylvia Kappelman. She's in her 70s, and she comes down, is confronted by it, but something happens, which I won't say because it will spoil it, but this character appears called the Lossen, who's like an agent, a representative for the Reaper.
Wow.
And he's basically processing her to take her. And but a complication sets in, and they found that she hasn't fulfilled her dream. So she is then taken kicking and screaming, because she doesn't believe that she feels she had this big successful life, very successful businesswoman, but they take her to the moment she lost her dream. So it's a supernatural tale, but it's got some dark comedy in it. So there's some real humour in there, but it's also very emotional. So and it does take you on a bit of a roller coaster for the audience. So and I think it does. It's entertaining, but it's also got a depth to it.
Sure. Well, it's great to hear you talking about this film, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it, and I'm sure your grandfather will be really proud of you right now. So,
it's great. It's really, really lovely to be able to share it with people. And I think film festivals like 2CIFF are really important, because especially for independent filmmakers, because the best thing is having a screen to show your audience and to share your ideas with people. And we've had a big success with the Lossen. It won one of the top awards at the Rhode Island International Film Festival. Our first public screening was in America, and I remember sitting in the audience, my stomach turning over, thinking, are they actually going to like this? And when it came to the humour, they laughed. And you think it's funny yourself, but it's not until you get it in front of an audience. And so we had a lot of success in America we won a big festival in Las Vegas and on the East Coast, and then it's gradually British audiences have caught up with it. Interestingly, the Americans seem to like it in much more quickly.
Sure.
So
Can you tell me a little bit about the cast that are involved?
Yeah, the key cast members. Linda Marlowe is a very accomplished actress. She worked with Stephen Burkoff, the actor, for quite a long time. She's been in the West End, and she's been in movies like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and she was in EastEnders for 4 years, and she's had a real career from theatre, film and television, and she we got the script to her on a Friday, and she said yes by the Sunday, which was amazing. She loved it, and she's been a big supporter of the film. And so Linda plays Sylvia Kappelman. There's an actor plays the Lossen called Sean Knopp, who's a very accomplished actor. He's been in Doctor Who, he's been in a lot of shows. And Albert Welling is also, he plays the Lossen's assistant, and he's currently playing Churchill. And I'm allowed to say that because it's been said publicly. He's playing Churchill in a Netflix production about a Kennedy family. Sure. So we had a really good cast. Very important for me to get the right cast.
And then are any of the team coming along to the festival?
I'm hoping some of the cast will be coming. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
I look forward to meeting them.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for anyone in the community that wants to get involved in filmmaking and come along to the festival as well? What they can get out of it, basically.
Absolutely. I think that, nowadays technology makes it so easy for people to go out and make a film. And I think the best thing, it's like for me, is to get out there and do it. And but I would say to people, always remember that filmmaking is storytelling. So understand stories. And I'm a great believer in that storytelling is how humans reflect on their own journeys. So if you can understand more about storytelling, then you translate that into film. And, I'd say watch lots of films. And also come to festivals, especially, come to 2CIFF, because you're going to see films that you may not see elsewhere. And they might be a bit weird, a bit quirky, but they might make you think differently. And of course, on television and film, things are very commercial, so you're not always going to see something that's a bit off the wall.
Sure. But
you can get that at a film festival. So I'd definitely come. And I think there's going to be a real community here for the event. So I would say definitely come along.
Great. Yeah. So 2CIFF is supporting a couple of charities in the area in relation to mental health and supporting the young people. Do you have any experience of filming young people with mental health issues?
I do actually, yes. I did some interviews with young people at a conference. It was a Health Watch conference actually, and the conference was specifically about how COVID had affected young people. So it was really interesting because for me it's about letting people express freely. So when I interview people, if I do a film like that, it's about allowing them to be free to express themselves. And it was interesting how even now young people are still affected by COVID and the lockdowns, and so it's shifted people about how do I interact socially. So with 2CIFF supporting Mindset and also Remind, it's that thing of recognizing that there's a need, especially with young people, to be able to address their mental health issues, and if there's support there for them, especially with charities, is wonderful. And also filmmaking is a way of perhaps escaping, expressing yourself in a different way. So filmmaking and mental health issues, in a way, perhaps it can help people.
Yeah, I was talking to my father the other day about how therapeutic, and he agrees it is, to be creative. It's quite stress-free, and you can just get lost in creating different content and
I totally agree
yourself.
with you. Yeah, for me, one of the processes for me that really allows me to drift away is writing, and especially when writing something like the Lossen. It's like I can just go into that world and there's no interruption. You're in that world. When you're filming it, obviously it's a different kind of space. We're working with lots of people, but I think being creative is therapeutic. And perhaps writing, or maybe you're expressing your own feelings about a particular issue or a particular story that relates to you. So it's an outlet. I think I definitely encourage people to come to the festival. Yeah. And I know people who are sort of following us on the Lossen. It's www.thelossen.com. There's a lot of people who'd like to see it on a big screen, and I would say to people, if you want to come and see it, you can come to the opening night and book tickets online. Yeah. So, and I think the seats will go quickly. Yeah. So
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, great, lovely.
So, final question for you today. What is your favourite film?
I've got lots of favourite films, but if I only had to choose one, I'd say it's Dr. Strangelove, Stanley Kubrick's film, because it's got a real. It's about impending nuclear war, which is a very dark subject, but it's the humour in it, the dark humour, and to me that really suits my humour. I love stories that have depth, but also humour can release the depth, and I think that's really important. So
great,
definitely,
good choice.
I like films that get you into a depth, but through humour.
Yeah.
I think that's a way of freeing people up.
Sure.
So definitely.